Greetings, everyone. Thank you for joining us for um, the financial aid offer awards letter that your students will be receiving or have received. And we just want to go over what exactly means from each school today. My name is Clinton Wilson. I serve as a supervisor of high school counseling. And this is a part of our college series, sorry, our college series 2.0 for the second semester. We have several partners on the line with us: GCS, Say Yes Guilford, CFNC, and Carolina College Advising Corps. So we're all here today to present to you. And if you have any questions during the event, the webinar, please feel free to utilize the chat to ask us those questions. If there's anything, okay, saying they can't hear me, is that everybody? Okay, we hear them. Okay. Um, we'll try to get that worked out for those who cannot hear me. Um, Please make sure that you utilize the chat and be appropriate in the chat. If you are inappropriate in the chat, or if you do anything inappropriate, you will be removed from the webinar. We just want to make you aware of all of that before it happens. We hope that we have a great event. And again, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat, and I will turn it over to Tequila.
Great. Thank you so much for that introduction, Dr. Wilson. So, we're going to have a really good time today. Um, just want to tell you a few of the things that we're going to cover during our time together. We're talking about financial aid forms needed for colleges. I filed my FAFSA, now what? Special circumstances, funds considered, and understanding your financial aid offer. So, these are the things that we're going to talk about on this evening. So, financial forms needed for colleges, of course, the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. So, if your student is a senior, hopefully you began that application as early as October 1. And if you didn't do it as early as October and you're still trying to get that worked out, please make sure you're completing that FAFSA or free application for federal student aid. That's pretty much the catalyst to getting things going to see what your student is able to be awarded. So you're seeing two websites on my screen. You see FAFSA.gov or studentaid.gov/FAFSA. Don't forget, the FAFSA form is mobile and tablet friendly. So if you're looking for that app, you'll see My Student Aid. Other applications or forms that colleges may need, of course, would be the College Scholarship Service Profile or CSS Profile. So, of course, you might be familiar with that, especially if you've been on College Board. And then other institutions may have their own institutional application outside the ones that I just mentioned. So if you're not sure what forms are needed for a college or university, we definitely encourage you to go to their website to find out what forms are going to be needed for the financial aid process. Now, I filed my FAFSA, now what? So I know you're thinking about that right now. So you want to make sure to respond to questions from the campus financial aid office in a timely manner. So some of you might get information to say that you've been selected for a process called verification. So I want to let you know, don't freak out about it. Don't worry. Just make sure you're following the steps that the college or university is telling you that you need to do. So verification means that the college or university may need to verify information they've received from your FAFSA application. Now, some colleges do in-house verification. Others may use a third-party servicer. Now, if the college is using a third-party servicer, they're definitely going to let you know. But you want to make sure that you're getting that information into the college or university as soon as you can, so they can continue to process your financial aid award. So, and then any other, individual college forms that are needed. So you're going to receive your financial aid award notification, which is what we're going to be talking about this evening. You're able to compare aid packages from colleges. So if you're trying to figure out, how you can get the best bang for your buck, so you might want to compare your aid packages, and we're going to talk about that towards the end of the presentation, and complete all steps necessary to secure your offered aid, so aid that you intend to accept. Now, financial changes can happen. So there may be some forms that are available that you need to make sure you get in. So remember, you may have completed your FAFSA early on in the fall, and a lot can change between the time that you've completed your FAFSA and the time that your student is going to be attending the college or university of their choice. So some special circumstances that could happen. Sometimes there's death. There can be disability. Divorce and separation is popular, um, and that happens commonly with families. Loss of employment. Family members may have lost their job. There may be unusual medical expenses. And so, of course, you do need to work very closely with the financial aid office of the school that your student will be attending and let them know that you have some circumstances that have changed. And they may need for you to complete a special conditions form or a special circumstance form. And what they're using is professional judgment. And they're going to look at that information case by case to decide how that is going to impact your financial aid award. So don't be afraid to talk to the financial aid office. That's what they're there for. They're there to support you and make sure you understand how the process works. So be in touch with them. And they may even ask you for supporting documentation. So if they are asking you for information, that doesn't mean that they don't believe what you're saying, but it means that they have to have that documentation to support their decisions. So make sure you're getting that information in a timely manner. So when you complete your FAFSA application, of course, you are going to get a FAFSA confirmation. So you're going to see this page, and it's going to tell you your EFC, your expected family contribution. So that's an important number that you need to know. So keep that in the back of your mind. We're going to come back and talk a little bit about the EFC. Now, funds being considered. So when we're putting together, or the financial aid office is putting together your financial offer, there are lots of funds that are being considered. So the federal government, there are funds that are out there like the federal Pell Grant. There's the federal Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant. There's student and parent loans that are out there. And then, of course, when we talk about North Carolina or our state, when you're completing the FAFSA or the free application for federal student aid, you're being considered for funds like the North Carolina Education Lottery Scholarship, the North Carolina Community College Grant, the UNC Need-Based Grant, the the North Carolina Need-Based Scholarship. So that's for private institutions in the state. And if you see the North Carolina Education Lottery Scholarship, of course, that's going to be for your public institutions. So we're talking about your UNC schools, we're talking about your community colleges. And then last but certainly not least, the institution. So whatever they're offering is going to vary from institution to institution. So I also want to let you know that you may see loans. You may see loans on your award offer. Now, please know you can accept or decline anything that is on your financial offer. And we're going to talk about what that looks like and how to do that. So you're going to see some loan limits here for dependent students. So remember on the FAFSA form, there was a section that will help us figure out whether your student is dependent or independent. So your students are going to be first year undergraduate students, and you're going to see possibly subsidized and unsubsidized loans on your award offer. Now, if you recall during one of our earlier sessions, if you joined, when we talk about subsidized loans, those are need-based loans in which the federal government pays the interest as long as your students in school and during their grace period. And unsubsidized, the federal government does not pay the interest. So, of course, you have the option to make interest payments as it's accumulating, or you can capitalize on the interest. So all the interest you haven't been paying for all 2 years or 4 years is added onto your principal loan amount once you go into repayment. So you may see subsidized, unsubsidized, or a combination. So, of course, you may see as much as $3,500 for subsidized. You could qualify maybe for an additional $2,000 in unsubsidized, but the annual limit that or the most you would see, possibly might be $5,500. So that will be for a dependent student. And then also want to let you know that, of course, depending on some other situations, if parents are denied parent loans or the parent loan for undergraduate students may see some additional funds that way. So we'll talk a little bit about that later. So direct versus indirect college costs. So when we look at direct costs, those are things that you're actually going to get a bill for from the college or university. So we're talking about tuition, fees, your student's room or housing, board, so their meals. And then indirect costs. These would be things that you're not getting a bill for, but they still impact the college experience. So we're talking about books and supplies, transportation, personal and miscellaneous expenditures, may include even health insurance. So I want to give you a formula. So I always like to give you something that you can reference. So this is what I want to say to you. Direct costs plus indirect costs equal cost of attendance, which is the budget uh, for your student. So direct costs plus indirect costs equal cost of attendance, which is the budget that we're working with. So just want you to know that budgets will vary based upon the category that your student is in for enrollment. So some of your students might be on campus, some of them may be off campus. We have students that are in state, we have students that are out of state. So just keep that information in mind. Now, this is another formula that I've given to families throughout the year during presentations, and this is a basic principle of financial aid, I guess you say, equation. So one of the things that we want to look at is we want to make sure that you have an idea of the cost of attendance. So COA, cost of attendance. Now the cost of attendance will vary from school to school. So depending on what college or university your student's looking at. So it could be they're looking at community college. It could be a four-year public school. It could be a four-year private school. But we want to take the cost of attendance minus your EFC. That's that word again. So I showed you earlier where we find out that information. So that EFC, expected family contribution. So you take the cost of attendance minus your EFC, and that's going to help you understand if your student has eligibility for need-based funds at any school that they're considering. Okay. Now, remember, EFC is the same no matter what college we're looking at, but the cost of attendance does change depending on the school, which means your eligibility for need-based funds can be different from school to school. So let's talk about award offers, or back in my day, we used to say award letters, so we would get a paper, award notification in the mail. So, of course, we just talked about, budgets and how, budgets can vary. So, of course, I have lots of real estate on my screen here, so don't worry about it. I'm just trying to show you what some information looks like. So you'll see here in the upper left-hand corner of my screen, I'm telling you how costs can vary as far as if a student's at home, if they're on campus or off campus. So one examples I'm showing you is that, if they're, at home on campus or off campus, you see the tuition and fees are the same. Loan fees are the same. It could be books and supplies. That information is the same across the board. But when we look at housing, that's where we're seeing differences. So you see for the first column at home, it's $1,647. On campus, we see $8,824, and off campus, $6,585. So that's where we're seeing most of our differences here. And then, of course, I'm just showing you some other types of award letters. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this page because I have some really good examples to show you in just a moment. So let's talk about language on the award offer. So, we use a lot of different jargon and lingo. So, but I want you to understand before we get too deep in talking about the award offer is that you must report other financial aid you expect to receive. The financial office can make changes after receiving that information. So I want you to know that. Now, if you decide to borrow federal loans, your student, or if you're the parent and you borrow, you have to complete the Federal Direct Stafford Loan Master Promissory Note. Now, that promissory note is an agreement to understand that you're taking out a loan and you're responsible for repaying it under the terms of the agreement. And then the other thing is that students will have to go through interest counseling or debt management counseling. So they understand their rights and responsibilities if they decide to take a loan. And not only that, once they exit the institution, or they go into the repayment or about to go into repayment, they will also go through what we call exit loan counseling. So again, they'll understand, hey, I'm about to go into repayment. I need to review and understand my rights and responsibilities. And then, of course, the parent can apply for the PLUS loan. PLUS stands for the parent loan for undergraduate student. Now, whereas the federal direct loan we were talking about earlier for students, the student is responsible for repaying that. There's no cosigner. There's no credit check for the student. But if you, as a parent, you see on your award offer that it says PLUS, parent loan for undergraduate student, then of course you are responsible for that particular loan obligation, and you will be expected to repay it under the terms of the agreement. and your loan is based upon credit worthiness. So I just want to make sure that you're aware of that. Now I'm going to add a little bit more language into the pot here that you'll see on your award offer. So make sure you're reading all enclosed terms and conditions. So when you see terms and conditions on your award notification or your award offer, make sure you're reading it so you understand. Also, read where it says satisfactory academic progress policy, or we call it SAP policy. Make sure you understand their withdrawal policy and any other important financial aid and campus policies. You need to make sure you understand that. Now I want to start off, and I'm going to show you an example of a paper award notification. We're going to see some electronic, um, information as well. So make sure you read everything that's there. So one of the things that you're seeing in red on my screen is you're seeing information that says based on the information you included in the FAFSA, your EFC, there's that word again, expected family contribution is $7,740. Now, okay, I'm going to pause for a minute. Okay, then after they say that, it says we use this number in conjunction with both direct and indirect college costs of attending of the school, like tuition, room, board, books, and expenses to determine your eligibility for federal and state and institutional grants and scholarships. So they use that information, right, to help determine what you can receive. Now, typically what we do is we break up the academic year into fall and spring. So they're going to tell you all the things that you are eligible to receive in fall and how much money you can get in spring, and they'll give you a grand total. So if you look down, it says source. So it's going to tell you, for fall and spring, it says LR scholars, they get $5,000 per semester. And then this particular student is eligible for the need-based scholarship. And so they're getting $2,800 per semester. And then this particular student is getting another grant. So they get $4,250 per semester. They received another award, the Highland Award, so they get $750 per semester. So it looks like, they're getting a pretty good amount here. And if you go over to the right-hand side of my screen at the top, the students also having some loans packaged. And so remember, even though you see everything here, a recipient can accept or decline anything on their offer. So you'll see federal direct unsubsidized loan. So they're offering the student $1,000 per semester. And then for the federal direct plus loan, remember that's the parent loan. So this student, they see that they have $5,775 per semester package. So each semester, the student is getting $21,325. So if we look at fall and spring total for that academic year, they're getting $42,650. Now, so you're seeing that information. And also on this award notification, they're showing that this student plans to live on campus. And so they're telling the student what their charges are. So we see tuition is $15,461 per semester, and their room and board, $5,370 per semester. So you're seeing that. Your award notification, I'm just showing you an example. So your award notification may have some similar information. And they're even eligible to receive money through the federal work study program. So in this presentation, I really talk about work study, but let me explain it here. So if you see work study on your award notification, that means the student cannot work more than 15 to 20 hours a week. They're working on campus or in a community service setting. So many times they're paid minimum wage. Sometimes they're paid, a little bit more. So of course, if there's any questions, and let me say this as we go along, looking at different examples, if you have any questions about award notifications, award offers you receive, or if it's still not clear, make sure that you're contacting the financial aid office. So make sure that you're contacting them. So you'll see that information. So this student has received a variety of things to help them be able to pay for their college or university. Here's another example. You'll see an award letter. This is an example for a community college. And of course, it's telling the student again, if you look at the first arrow on my screen, it's telling them how much they're getting. So they're getting the Pell Grant. They're also getting the Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant. And again, it's breaking it down to their total award. So how much they're getting for fall and spring. And for this particular student, we also see summer. Now, of course, if your student's interested in going to summer school, they need money for that, definitely talk to the financial aid office to see if they still have funds available to support award for the summer. So I also want to point to you on this award letter set up a little bit different, or award notification. It says conditions of this award. Now here it's telling the student your award is based on a 12 credit hour enrollment. So if you register for less than 12 credit hours, your award will be adjusted accordingly. So this is what I'm telling you, that it's very important that you read the information on the award notification, so that you know if something changes, how it will impact. Um, and so some other things that I want to point out to you is that here they're also talking about satisfactory academic progress. So the third era, this award letter does not guarantee that you will receive financial aid each term. Your award for each term is contingent upon the evaluation of satisfactory academic progress, as defined as satisfactory academic progress standards for financial aid. So again, SAP. So generally that means that the student has to maintain a certain GPA in order to receive that award, and complete a certain percentage of classes they've attempted. So, so typically it might be like a 2.0 GPA or higher. So it's important that you read the information. So they may give you a link on your award notification. You can definitely go to the financial aid office page, or financial planning office, whatever the financial aid office is calling themselves, and you can review that policy. It's important that students know that. And then, of course, you might hear or see information that talks about refunds. So, check versus deposit. And so that's often given after classes have begun. So, make sure you're planning appropriately for that. So, read everything. Now, here's some examples of accessing electronic award letters. So, of course, it's going to tell you how to sign in to whatever their portal, or whatever the system that that college or university is using. So it's going to tell you step by step what you need to do as far as logging in, what tabs you need to click on. And then, of course, once you get in, it's going to definitely make sure that you know where to go to access your financial aid information. And so once you're in the financial aid area, it'll be very clear, and the college is going to make sure that you understand where you click to see your award information. Now, here's another example of an online award. You may be able to see your financial aid award history, and it's going to tell you some information here. So here it's going to tell you again what is being offered, and you can see what has been accepted, what has been declined, what has been canceled. So you can see it laid out a different way. And so all of them are different, and it's going to be up to the college or university. So you're seeing that the student has been offered a Pell Grant, and you can see what what they've accepted. They were also offered the UNC Need-Based Grant, and they accepted that. And so they received a merit award, and that was offered $3,500, and they accepted that. So remember, when you receive your financial offer, it's telling you all the different types of aid that your student can receive to be able to pay for college expenses. Now, just because it's offered does not mean that you have to accept it, because here they're giving you the option to accept, or you can decline. Now, you see that this student also has loans packaged. So you see subsidized and you see unsubsidized. So the student, you see they have $3,500 and they have $2,000. But let's just play devil's advocate, and maybe the student doesn't need all of that. So, of course, you can also indicate what you would like to receive as far as the loan. So, if you don't feel like you need that full amount and you would like to receive less, you certainly can do that as well. Now, I'm just showing you some different ways to look at award notifications or award letters and to see how things look. So this is just another example. If you're looking at Campus A, we're looking at Campus B and Campus C. Again, the form. This is that formula that I showed you, that financial aid principle. Um, I guess you say calculation I showed you earlier on. So we take the cost of attendance less your EFC to be able to tell you what how much financial need that you have. So you'll see, based upon the three campuses, you have three different costs. Campus A is $1,900. Oh, excuse me, 1,900. Sorry, $19,000. 1,900 sounds better though. $19,000. Campus B, $40,000. Campus C, $65,000. Now remember, one of the things I told you is the EFC is the same. Doesn't matter which school they're going to, the EFC is the same, but the financial need will change. So you'll see, based upon these three schools, their financial need changed based upon the campus. And the whole purpose behind financial aid is to help you meet your need. And so I won't spend a whole lot of time on this page, but I wanted you to understand and see the example and how that works for you. And so, you can see the amount of money that students are being offered for each of the campuses that they have here. Now, let's talk a little bit about how to pay the balance due. So, if you have a balance that is due, there's a variety of ways that you can actually pay anything that's due. So, one of the ways that you can pay for any out of pocket, excuse me, anything that's due is out of pocket. You can pay that. So, if you have money set aside in an account and you have a balance due, you can do it that way. There are some, families that might have saved for college and you have a 529 account or some type of college savings account set aside. And you can definitely use that in order to be able to pay any balance that's due. Now, if we go down a little bit further on the diagram, you'll see college payment plan. So most of the college and universities will offer you a college payment plan, or they may call it installment payment plan. And so, of course, I will give you some advice. If you think that you want to do a payment plan, start when the plan starts. Because if you start later after the plan has already started, you're gonna have to pay. Excuse me, you're gonna have to play what we call catch up. Now, payment plans, they're interest free. You usually have to pay an enrollment fee to participate. So just know that. And that fee is usually relatively low. Another way that you can pay the balance due would be private student loans. So just be mindful of the interest rate. Now, we talked about student loans just a little bit because we did cover that quite a bit in another session. But I just want you to understand that, for the loans that we talked about for students that are part of the federal direct loan program, there is no cosigner for the student. Many times for private loans or alternative loans, you might hear that term, the student does not have enough credit because that is a credit worthy loan. They don't have enough credit to stand on their own. So in that case, they're probably going to have a cosigner, or they're going to have what we call a surety. Okay, so just be mindful of that. And with the private loans and the federal loans, you cannot consolidate those together. So I just want to make sure that you're aware of that. Now, some other things that are really good, of course, cfnc.org has a lot of great calculators to help you through the process once you received your financial offer, or as you're going through this decision making process. So under the pay tab on CFNC, you're going to see 7 essential financial aid calculators. So here's some that you may want to look at. There is a compare financial aid calculator that would be useful if you're trying to make a decision. There's a smart borrow calculator. So if you decide to borrow, the smallest loan payment that you could ever have is usually $50. Okay, the more you borrow, the higher your loan payments could possibly be. And you also want to take into account, what is your student majoring in? What field, are they going to be working in? And is it smart to borrow? And you want to think about, is your student just going to school for 2 years or 4 years? Are they going to go to graduate school? There's some things that you need to think about. And there's also a student loan comparison calculator that's out there. So There's, like I said, there's several different calculators, but these are just a few that I wanted to point out to you. Now, here's what the Compare Financial Aid Award Calculator looks like. So, lots of good information here. So, of course, you can fill out, whatever school that your student's considering. So, here for this example, I just put school one, school two, school three, school four, but you can actually give those schools names to help you as you go along. And then we look at cost of attendance. This is where you can fill in things that we talked about earlier. So tuition and fees, you can put that in for each school. Room and board, put that in. Books and supplies, you're able to put that information in. Travel, personal expenses, you can put all that information into the calculator. And then the second half of the calculator allows you to put in financial aid. So this is what your student is being offered, right? So this is where you're able to put in, okay, school one, is giving my student grants and scholarships, and you can fill that in. Here's some other gift aid that's being offered. There's some self-help aid. So they're offering my student loans, and these are the types of loans that are being offered. They offered my student work study. So you can do that for school one, school two, school three, school four. Then at the end, you'll see the calculate button at the lower right-hand corner of the screen. And then you can look at the schools, together in one place. And you can make an educated decision about what you think is going to be the best choice for you as a family financially. So this is just a really easy way to compare financial aid offers. So if you haven't had a chance to look at it, take a look at it. It'll be a great tool to help you as you prepare to make your final choice. Don't forget, decision day is what? May 1. So make sure that you're ready. It's right around the corner. There's some useful free college financial planning sites out there. So we talked a little bit about studentaid.gov. It's an amazing website. So check it out. Great information. Of course, cfnc.org, we provide lots of information for free for residents of North Carolina. College Board. So, of course, you're familiar with College Board. They have a great website. And then many, many other websites. Look at the individual websites for colleges and universities that your students are considering. So I want to just mention to you about some upcoming webinars that we have. And then we're going to stop and see what questions that you might have and see what kind of questions that we might have had in the chat. So upcoming webinars. So this is not it. We still have a whole lot more that's coming up. So on my screen, we do have a college ready mentality workshop that's going to be April 15th from 6 to 7 p.m. So mark your calendars. We have on April 22nd, we have college and career ready. So that's going to be an awesome webinar. And the last one that we're offering in April, we have more to come. So we're going to take you throughout the year, but Cash for College, and that's going to be April 29th from 6 to 7. So not only mark your calendars, but make sure you tell somebody else about it who hasn't had a chance to receive the information. And then, of course, you can see how you can register and get more information at our www.sayyesguilford.org/college kickoff series. Now, I want to pause. I have some colleagues that are here with me, and they've been trying to answer your questions in the chat. Desire, do we have any questions that are in the chat that we need to address or share?
Not that I noticed on here. It looks like Warshay did address a lot of those. Yeah. So it looks like Warshay did address a lot of those.
Okay. So if you have a question and you haven't had a chance to put it in the chat, feel free to put that information in the chat for us. Desire, is there anything else you want to add?
No, I think this was a good job, spot on for me. I don't
Okay.
have anything I wanted to add to it.
Okay. Well, I just want to remind you guys that you will be able to have this recorded webinar to go back and reference. So if you have not received your financial offer yet, once you've received it, you can utilize this information that you received tonight to help you make a decision. Again, like I mentioned to you, for many schools, May 1 is decision day. Let the school know if you're coming or if you're not coming. So make sure. And then, of course, they're going to be telling you what the next steps are to get ready for fall. It'll be here before you know it. And so we want to make sure that your students are ready, and it's going to be a wonderful year. I just know it. So if
We
you're
do, I was about to say we have one new question that just popped up.
okay,
Someone wants to know about well, I'll go ahead and answer it. The question says, applying to colleges starts in August for juniors. That is correct. Common App will start opening those applications August 1st. FAFSA for current 11th graders will be open of October of their 12th grade year. So if you're in 11th grade now and you'll be in the 12th grade starting this August, FAFSA will open up October 1st for you to go ahead and complete it. And that will be for the 2022-2023 school year. So the school year is going to be important on that because it will still have that 21-22 school year, which is from this year's seniors. You want to make sure you do the year that they will actually be entering college, not the year that they're in high school. That's a common mistake that we see.
great job. Okay. Any final thoughts from any of our other partners?
There appears to be another question that's come in. What do we need to do when colleges are asking for fees, enrollment, housing before we receive awards letters? It's a great question. Anyone want to take a stab at that answer or that question?
Okay, so
So, I would definitely say reach out to the university and ask them, where's your financial aid award letter?
Exactly.
yeah,
I was going to
I'm
say
still
the
going to say
same
that.
thing.
You want to complete the FAFSA. I've seen that sometimes students, they apply to college, but they forget to complete the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. And so the student will not necessarily receive a financial aid award letter if they do not complete their FAFSA. So that's very important. And they need to indicate their college on their FAFSA. That's very essential before they pay any enrollments or any housing deposits. That is very important. And are there financial offers juniors can apply for? Like Desire just mentioned, you cannot apply for they cannot apply for the FAFSA right now until their senior year, but your junior, your sophomore, whoever can begin to look at scholarships right now. CFNC.org offers a plethora of scholarships. FastSwap.com, scholarships.com, even your high school counseling department, you can look on their website and you can see a smorgasbord of all of these scholarships that are offered. It kind of gets you geared up for your senior year. So that's very important to look at. And there's a lot of other questions coming in. The Perkins family, you're just on fire tonight. Desire, do you want to take a stab at these two questions or should I?
I can definitely take a stab. So how do you know which decision you should apply for, early versus regular decision? That's a great question. I usually tell, or how I have it at my school that I college advise that I try to get everybody to apply early. Just because, you know, there's a lot of stuff that goes on by those early decision dates, including free college application week. Usually that comes around in October where that's still going to hit that early decision wave. But also it's a first come, first serve movement. If you want to go ahead and get those decisions back early and get your financial aid awards and all of that stuff back first, you need to be first to send in those applications. Right now, I will just give an example. Students who apply regular decision, most of them haven't heard back from their colleges yet when their friends are already doing enrollments and stuff. So it's like they're way on the late end, you know, not saying that it's anything necessarily wrong with it. I would just say what is the timeline you'll be looking for, because like I said, right now a lot of those regular decisions haven't even come back yet. So that means their FAFSA is going to take that much longer because you can't, or your financial aid award package, you can't get your award package until the school processes your decision. So that is what I'll say about that. I would say early decision for everyone. Now, if you have issues with your grades, like say your GPA isn't, your GPA is maybe not the GPA minimum for North Carolina Public University, like say you're below that 2.5 level, then you obviously are going to need to get your GPA up first. But if your GPA is fine, go ahead and submit that application early. Plus, you can also always be reconsidered. So I usually tell students early, can't really beat it, you know, just prepare sooner. And how will that affect your FAFSA timeframe? So I kind of covered that a bit. If you are applying later, again, it's first come, first serve. So if they already awarded all of those grants and stuff, back then. And oh, I will say also merit scholarships. Merit scholarships do have those early decision deadlines. So if you apply regular decision, you automatically are going to miss a lot of that merit scholarship opportunity because they are reserved for those first semester application dates.
All right. Perfect. Thank you. And someone just sent me a direct message. Should I expect financial aid award letters from FAFSA after filling in the application? When you complete your FAFSA, you will expect to receive financial aid award letters from the college or university that your student has been accepted to. If the student has not been accepted, they will not receive anything at all. So they have to apply. And once they indicate the college on their FAFSA, they will receive a financial aid award indication from the university. And I also want to add this, students need to make sure they check their email and that they complete the financial aid to-do list. I cannot tell you how many times we're assisting students and they realize that they have a financial aid to-do item that they have not completed, which results in them not receiving a financial aid award many times, or they may have been selected for verification. Okay, and I also want to reiterate what Tequila just mentioned as well. She gave a phenomenal website, and I'm going to drop it in here again. The 7 essential financial aid calculators. That is very great. And someone was asking about when is the college application week for 2021. Maybe usually it's in October, but
Yeah.
you can go to the website and I'll drop it in just in case you may know, Tequila, because you're CFNC guru.
Yeah, we're still, we have not announced it formally yet. We are meeting to figure out which is going to be the date for the upcoming year. So just make sure that you're checking our website, and also school counselors, once we do announce that, they will be sharing that with you and your students.
Okay. And I think we have time for maybe 2 more questions, perhaps if it's up to the team. Someone asked, how long do college applications take? I'll let you take that, Desire, since you're always helping students complete their college application as a
How
phenomenal
long
college
do they
advisor.
take? Okay, in general to fill out. Honestly, it depends on how you're doing it. So if you're on Common App, it's like one general college application that you are submitting. But you do have to have a bit of personal information from the student and the parent. So I would say it depends on if you have everything, if you're ready to go. If you don't have everything, it may take across several days till you get everything. But let's just say you have everything right there on the spot with you: social security number, parents' information, all of that good stuff. If you're applying to North Carolina College, you need your residency. So it's a lot of stuff that goes into it and steps you need to take to do it. So the residency included, it probably, I would say you want to sit down and have maybe an hour just to get all that personal information through. If it requires an essay, that's another layer. So I would say rather than trying to do everything in one setting, break it down, do one step at a time. Like I tell my students, prepare your essay over the summer before applications even open. They have the essay prompts already out there for you. So if you get your essay done, you get it checked over and stuff like that, boom, that's done before the applications even open. Go ahead and get your parent information, your information together, so you'll have it all in one place by the time those applications open, so you can just type everything in. So if you have everything prepared, and I would say together like that, likely it can take you 30 minutes. I'll sit in a session with students, and if they have everything, all I had to do was review the stuff and go over it. We can get it all submitted. And I mean, back-to-back applications in 30 minutes. So like I said, it's up to you. If you prepare all your tools, you can be able to get it done in no time.
And Desire, don't forget, they can also do their RDS if they're, over the summer, like right before school starts, I would say,
Mhm.
or as soon as school starts, go ahead and get that RDS done. You don't have to wait and do it as you're doing the application. Just go
Yes.
ahead and knock that out.
So yeah, that is a great recommendation. If you can do these pieces as soon as possible, y'all. Especially, the colleges vary in what they ask for. Some colleges might just want your personal information. That's it. Don't need anything additional. Some colleges take a well-rounded or a holistic approach, and they want an essay. They want to see your resume. They want to see what you're involved in. They want recommendation letters. So it's going to depend on the college, honestly, and what they're asking of you. But I would say if you do a Common App application, where you can just put all that general information in one and then send it out to a bunch of colleges. That usually saves a lot of time. If you go through CFNC, those are a lot of applications where they have a bunch of sections, but you don't necessarily have to fill everything out. But with those, you have to keep putting the same information over and over and over again for each application. So that's the only thing with that one.
And I guess we have 3 more minutes, it looks like, but does the EFC come via email or email? It comes once you complete the FAFSA. Usually you will see your EFC on that screen. So when you go to
Yes.
FAFSA.gov, you can actually see it. And someone was asking a question, basically, how do I correct my FAFSA? You wanted to add a college, simply go to FAFSA.gov, log in, and you can actually add up to 10 colleges to that particular list. And that appears to be it. So
One more
check out our
question about
YouTube.
essays.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Essay prompts are, you can find them on commonapp.org. They have a list of the essays, and you can just Google it, Google Common App essay prompts. It's like 7 or 8 of them, and you can just pick one.
All right.
Mhm.
Thank you, everyone. We put the YouTube channel where you can see this recording. In fact, probably in the next 30 minutes, you'll see this recording on YouTube. So go to our YouTube channel, Say Yes Guilford, and we are so grateful for CFNC. Thank you, Tequila. Thank you, College Advising Corps. And of course, Guilford County Schools, and yours truly, Say Yes Guilford as well. So anything else you want to say, Ms. Spurgeon or Ms. Hall?
No, we just thank you so much for attending. Join us again. Come back. Like I said, we have a lot more to offer. And tell somebody that didn't make it tonight about the wonderful time that you had, the great information you received, and bring them back with you next time.